שלום עליכם, מלאכי השרת, מלאכי עליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, עד קדוש ברוך הוא. We are on page 142. שלום עליכם, מלאכי השרת, מלאכי עליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, עד קדוש ברוך הוא. אוי 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 בואכם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, עד קדוש ברוך הוא. ברכוני לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, עד קדוש ברוך הוא. אוי 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 צאתכם לשלום, מלכי השלום, מלאכי עליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, עד קדוש ברוך הוא. היי לה 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 יה לה 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 יה לה 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 אוי 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 היי היי לה 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 Yai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai. צאתכם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, עד קדוש Baruch Hu. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
What a pleasure to start Shabbat together as a community. We will start our Shabbat service on page 128, celebrating our gathering, our being, community, our togetherness, and saying, Ine matov umanaim, shevet achim gam yachad, how wonderful is for this community to be here, to be together.
Ine matov umanaim, shevet achim gam yachad. Ine matov umanaim, shevet achim gam yachad.
to welcome Shabbat as a community. And we are going to start our Shabbat service on page 120, Lighting Shabbat Candles. I'd like to invite Miriam Van Rolt to lead us in the blessing that you can find on page 120. Amen. May the light of these candles fill the experience of our Shabbat with warmth and hope. We start our service, the piece of our service of Kabbalat Shabbat, the piece that tries to elevate our spirits to the place where we can welcome Shabbat, trying to embrace this sense of love that surrounds us when Shabbat comes. We're on page 129 for Dodi Lee.
Dodi Lee, Aniro, Aroe,
Shanim, Dodi Li, Mekuteret Mor, Moru Devona, Mekuteret Moru Devona. Dodi joy and gratitude, we welcome Shabbat on page 130 with Lehur Ranena. Lehur Ranena, Lehur Ranena, Lehur Ranena. think of Shabbat as a bride, and I repeat Friday after Friday that when we welcome Shabbat, it's like when we get ready to welcome somebody that we are really looking forward to having in our house, to having in our community. You're probably familiar with that sense of excitement that we have when, our children are coming from Philadelphia to visit. And you are 2 days before that, and you are getting ready, and then they are in the airport, and you're like, your heart is about to blow up because you can't wait, or your daughter is about to deliver. She did already. And it's about to happen like next day, another 2 days, or you are about to see your granddaughter. That sense of love and an expectation that overwhelms us, that's how we get ready towards Shabbat. That's how we think of Shabbat. And when we sing Lecha Dodi, on that moment, it happens. On that moment, the children arrive. The daughter delivers. The granddaughter shows up. That's the moment in which we say, Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala. We go toward the bride. We go to welcome the bride. We're on page 138, and we sing activity, the first, the second, the fifth, the sixth, and the ninth verses of Lecha Dodi. Yarananai Lecha Dodi, Yarananai Likrat Kala, Yarananai Penei Shabbat, Penei Shabbat, Lecha Belai, Yarananai Lecha Dodi. Yarananai Likrat Kala, Yarananai Penei Shabbat, Penei Shabbat, Lecha Belai, Shamor v'zachor, b'dibur echad, Yishmiyanu el hameyuchad, Adonai echad, u'shmo echad, l'shemo tiferet v'niteva. Yarananai Lecha Dodi, Yarananai Likrat Kala, Yarananai Penei Shabbat, Penei Shabbat, Lecha Belai, Yarananai Lecha Dodi, Yarananai Likrat Kala, Yarananai Penei Shabbat, Penei Shabbat, Lecha Belai, Likrat Shabbat, Lechu v'nelcha, Ki v'kol haberacha, Merosh mikeden nesucha, Sof ma'aseh b'machshavat tchila, Yarananai Lecha Dodi, Yarananai Likrat Kala, Yarananai Penei Shabbat, Penei Shabbat, Lecha Belai, Yarananai Lecha Dodi, Yarananai Likrat Kala, la 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 פני שבת פני שבת וקרב אליי אליי לך דודי לקראת כלה יאללה לי יאללה לי יאללה לי פני שבת נקרב אליי אליי לך דודי לקראת כלה יאללה לי יאללה לי יאללה לי בשבת נקרבנה, היי היי היי, התעוררי, התעוררי, כי בהורך אורי אורי, אורי אורי, שדברי, כבוד אדוני, עלייך נגלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, יאללה לי, יאללה לי, יאללה לי, בשבת נקרבנה, היי היי היי, לך דודי לקראת כלה, יאללה לי, יאללה לי, יאללה לי, בשבת נקרבנה, היי היי היי, לא תבושי ולא תקרבי, מה תשתוכחי, או מה תהמי, איי איי איי, בך יחסו אני אהבי, ונבנתה הרלתי לה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, יאללה לי, יאללה לי, יאללה לי, בשבת נקרבנה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, יאללה לי, יאללה לי, יאללה לי, בשבת נקרבנה, בואי בשלום עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצהלה תוך אמוני המסעולה בואי חלה בואי חלה לך דודי לקראת כלה יאללה לי יאללה לי יאללה לי בשבת נקרבנה היי 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 לך דודי לקראת כלה יאללה לי יאללה לי יאללה לי בשבת נקרבנה. Good Shabbos everyone, and as we welcome Shabbat and we say welcome to Shabbat, you can say Shabbat Shalom to each other. You might want to take a minute to say Shabbat Shalom. So I take a minute to say Shabbat Shalom. So you know, I went Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. So, after dedicating time to acknowledge each other, we grant Shabbat a wonderful song, Tzadit Katamar. We are on page 140 for Psalm 92. page 146 for Baruch. Please rise. Baruch et Adonai Hamevorach. Baruch Adonai Hamevorach leolam vaed. Baruch Adonai Hamevorach leolam vaed. You may be seated. We are on page 149, and I invite you to read together the alternative reading for Mariv Aravim. This is an hour of change.
Within it, we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it, we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'arif Aravim.
And before the Shema, I invite you to close your eyes just for a couple of seconds and to try to think about something that makes you feel deeply loved. An image, a person, a place, a moment in your life. Go to that moment, to that place, to that person, to those hands that make you feel, that connects you with the idea of an everlasting love. Well, during the week, so busy with the work of our creations, it's hard to find a moment just to stop and to breathe, to feel loved. Shema is the moment in which we connect with the divine presence in our midst, with our neshamot, with our souls. And we do that by doing a very simple thing. Just breathe. Focus for a second in your neshima. focus for a second in your breath, on your breath. And that will connect you eventually with your neshama, with your soul. I invite you to take a deep breath. Breathe out. We say, dear God, never remove that love from us. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Israel. We turn on the page of our Siddur. Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 We are on page 154. Let's chant together.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בבוב לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם נאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך.
Before we read Leman Tizkeru, I want you to know that this is in our Torah portion tomorrow. And for those of you that come tomorrow to our service, you will learn how this portion is extremely connected with all what we do in Yom Kippur. So I hope that brought you curiosity. And if you don't come, you can go and check my sermon 2 years ago. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. מול הכל סוד וקיים עלינו, כי אדוני אלוהינו ואין זולתו ואנחנו ישראל עמו. We are on page 156 and we continue with the silent reading. When your children witness your presence, they praise your name in gratitude, and they accepted your sovereignty. They sang a song of redemption. You can follow blowing in the wind in the pages that we put the gate of the service and of the sanctuary, or you might have the words there.
How many roads must a man walk down
158. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר וקודש. תורת אילות אוסף אליהם, תורת אילות אוסף אליהם. מלכותך ראו בניך, הים לפני משה מרים. צאלים עלו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. צאלים עלו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. מלכותך ראו בניך, הים לפני משה ומרים. צאלים עלו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. The answer, my friends, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. Thus it is said, Adonai redeemed Jacob from a hand stronger than his own. Praise are you, Adonai, for redeeming Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Gaal Israel.
Amen.
Turn our Siddurim to page 116. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship
Be our shelter from life's storms.
let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship
Be our shelter from life's storms.
Ashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu, Ashkivenu, Leshalom, Ashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu, Ashkivenu, Leshalom. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms.
Let there be
ברוך אתה אדוני, הפורס סוכת שלום עלינו
and
ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים.
among us.
Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. On page 162, before we bring ourselves into our personal prayer, we remind ourselves of this wonderful gift that we were given, of this Shabbat that we are celebrating. Beshamru b'nei Israel et Shabbat. for Tfilat Hamidah, and you're invited to follow the words of our tradition, or to try to find the words of your heart, the prayer of your heart.
Adonai Safatai Tiftach Ufri Yagi Tehilatecha Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise.
Thinking about emet, about truth. Before we conclude this Tfilat Hamidah, I'd like to invite you to open your Siddur on page 172. L'tayar liveinu le'ov decha be'emet, purify our hearts to find your real work, the work of truth. Betaher liveinu le'ovdecha, 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 le'ovdecha be'emet. Betaher liveinu le'ovdecha, 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 le'ovdecha be'emet. Betaher May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, Adonai, my rock and my redeemer. יהיו לרצון אמרי פי והגיון ליבי לפניך, אדוני צורי וגואלי. We're on page 371. We extend our תפילת עמידה to dedicate a blessing, a prayer, an intention for those that are dealing with illness, those that are in need of healing, those that are dealing with illness in their bodies, illness in their spirits, those that are dealing with mental illness, those that are dealing with addictions. And if you have a name that you'd like to share in this evening of Shabbat, please do so.
Cameron Lackey.
Doreen Oberding, John Diaz. Joyce Severson, Linda Lilly, Kayla Bailey, Maya Fisher, Phil Teta.
Pregnancy is not an illness, but when a man delivers, we also wish to her body, refuah shlema, we also wish to her body to recover. So please join us for a prayer for all those that are in need of our loving energies on page 371. רפואה שלמה והחלמה מהירה, a complete and a fast recovery. So just to make sure, do you know what Torah portion? Where? Shalach. No. Shalach lecha is a different one. This is Shalach. Really? Okay, we got it wrong. So this is the Torah portion. When it says Shalach, we are talking about the spies. The spies, the 12 spies. Have you heard about them? Have you heard about the spies? Not those from the Mossad, but maybe the early beginning of the Mossad. Who knows? But spies, and not spices, but spies. And you know, and we will get into the story of these 12 individuals that were selected, each of them from one tribe. So we had 12 tribes. We got 12 spies. And some of you that were reading the book of Joshua with me a couple of weeks ago know that this story in the Torah goes hand by hand with the story, with the beginning of the story in the book of Joshua. Now, let's put it aside. And I want to share a Talmudic story with you. A discussion between Hillel and Shammai. So, the tradition teaches us that when you are dancing in a wedding, you are supposed to dance in front of the bride. You're supposed to dance with the bride and praise her and say how wonderful is the bride. But then Shammai's school says, but what would you say if actually the bride is ugly? What do you say if you get an ugly bride? And the description in the Talmud is worse than that, okay? This is a very mild version translated and modified by me. So what do you do if the bride is ugly? So here we have a couple of Jews with different answers. We'll see what the rabbis say. But then the school of Shammai says to David, we were told in Exodus, I have it written, David, 23rd, 7th, keep you from a false mother. So you can't lie, say the school of Shammai. You can't say, she is wonderful. But then, here says, you wouldn't go to a market with a friend and after he bought, a pound of bananas, you would say, I got it cheaper in the store next to the one you bought. Or you wouldn't say, oh, what an ugly banana. He already bought it. So don't say anything, says the school of Shammai, of Hillel. Now, I want to leave you with this discussion, and we will conclude the discussion at the end of our conversation. Now, I want to invite you to think for a second about something that is true for you, about a truth. And there's something interesting about truth, especially in our relationships or in how we think about politics, is that sometimes when we think about something that is really, really true for us, we don't get to communicate that with others so well. Think about those pieces of truth that you try to share with your spouses, partners, and with your children that often get rejected. When you have like a piece of truth, I see that with my little kids, I guess that those that have some more experience in the business, you get that too. So I want you to think for a second, just take 30 seconds, and think about a piece of truth. Now, keep it in mind. I guess you have something. And if you don't, in your way back home, you might think about something or something else. Now, let me tell you the story of the spies. So Moses sent a group of 12 guys that are supposed to take a look at the land of Israel. He gives them very clear instructions. When these guys, the spies, come back, 10 of them come back hysterical. They come back running through the camp, screaming their truth. Screaming their truth. And they are so afraid. They are so hysterical about what they saw. And they saw things that you could understand as very challenging things if you wanted to conquer the land of Israel. They were real. They were there. There were walls, and the citizens of these places were big people, and they were probably well fed because the food was gigantic. There's this description about the cluster of grapes. Huge grapes that 8 people are carrying them, and they say, well, things are huge, and they see a funeral, and they think that everybody dies there, so they will die too. And they come back so afraid, and they scream that out. And when the spies come back and talk to Moses, 10 relate these facts and say, Moses, we better go back to Egypt. We better make a U-turn and go back to Egypt. Now, the other 2 spies, we know their names, right? Joshua and Caleb. Joshua and Caleb say, they were Israelis. No big deal. No big deal. Yes, it looks complicated, but it is not a big deal. Now, an interesting thing is they don't discuss the facts. The facts that they are relating, that they are describing, are exactly the same. They saw the same things, but they're telling a different story. The narrative is different. And here is the thing. Sometimes we look at the same things, but we have different values. And when we look at certain things with our values, we might see a different thing of or we understand that thing in a different way that our friend next to us is understanding. So I want to share something about this idea of how we understand things, the same things, exactly the same things, and how might things be modified. I got a story for you. So my mom used to try to share this piece of wisdom with me, a pointful story that I have shared in the past here, but I will repeat today as she did with me. She used to repeat the same stories all the time. That's what parents do, right? So many years ago, in a small town in Europe, there was a single dad who somehow managed to send his son to school to get good education in a town that was quite far from their house. One day he received a letter from his son. Excited and anxious, he ran to the butcher. The father was illiterate, but the butcher knew how to read. The butcher, who was a very strong and a bit rude man, read the letter for him. Dear Dad, I hope this letter finds you well. It's been a while. Unfortunately, the money that you have given me has all gone. I will need you to send me some more as soon as possible. Thinking of you, your Inge. The father was very, very upset after hearing the tone of the letter. And he said, I don't think I can send him any money, and left. Embittered and deeply sad, he walked for hours in the streets, until without noticing, he found himself by the synagogue. There, he met the rabbi who was on his way and stopped by to say hi to him. The rabbi asked him how he was doing. The father told him about how upset he was with his son's behavior and his lack of gratitude. The rabbi, with a deep empathy, asked to see the letter. The father gave him the letter, and the rabbi read, Dear Dad, I hope this letter finds you well. It's been a while. Unfortunately, the money that you have given me has all gone, and I will need you to send me some more as soon as possible. Thinking of you, your Inge. The father put a big smile on his face. That's my Inge. Now that he asked for it so nicely, I of course will help him and send the money. Everything is about our tone. When you say your truth with a loving, kind tone, it becomes way more effective. When you refrain from saying something because you are guided by loving kindness, even then, when you are not saying something, even then, if you are guided by loving kindness, your truth becomes more powerful. Now let me get back to Hillel and Shammai for the first time. I'll go back twice. The discussion between Hillel and Shammai is called a dilemma, I go in English in a second, ben emet v'shalom. The discussion between truth and peace. Remember that the psalmist says, Ki amarti olam chesed ivaneh. The world, says the psalmist, will be built upon loving kindness. The challenge is to create, in the way we approach the world, a space for the divine meeting between chesed, loving kindness, and truth, and emet, as the psalmist says as well. Chesed be'emet nifgeshu, tzedek be'shalom nashaku. Mercy and truth are met together. Righteousness and peace have kissed each other. So here's the point. Whenever we share truth, whenever you have something to say, if the thing that is guiding your words is loving kindness, go with that. Like you are in a safe way. You're in a safe way. Just go with that. If when you are speaking, you notice, you stop for a second and you notice that loving kindness is not the main thing that is guiding your truth, so stop for a second. Stop for a second and ask yourself, what kindness, if kindness was a friend or a person, would say about how you feel in this specific moment. It turns out that facts, they are not truth in the Jewish world. That truth is the result of understanding the facts with loving kindness. Should I say that again? Truth is the result of thinking about facts with the value of loving kindness. That's what we call emet. When we say betayr liveinu le'ov decha ve'emet, as we sang at the end of Tfilat Amidah, by absolute coincidence, what we are asking is for loving kindness. We are asking to see our lives and our relationships and those things that we want to say to our children, to our spouses, to our grandchildren, through the glasses, through the eyes of loving kindness. Because when you just share facts, dry facts, and you think that you are saying the truth, you are probably just harming. And here is another thing. So what did the rabbis do? What is the answer for the first thing? Keisad merakdim bifnei akala. How are you supposed to dance before the bride when the bride is ugly and you are supposed to say that she's wonderful, but you are not supposed to lie? The rabbis agreed that the bride is wonderful in the eyes of her husband. And that's the truth. Shabbat Shalom. We are on page 586 for Aleinu Leshabeach. Please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר ראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומורדים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסר הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובה מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אלוהים, אמת מלכנו אפס הולדתו, ככתוב בתורתו וידעת היום והשבות אל לבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל ועל הארץ מתחת עליון. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. At this point of our service, we dedicate a moment to acknowledge mourners among our community. If you are during the first 7 days of mourning, Shiva, please rise and share with us who you are remembering. Your cousin. If you are during the first 30 days of mourning, Shloishim, please rise. If you are during the first year of mourning, please rise.
Maria Zelda Walker,
If you have a yahrzeit this week, an anniversary of death this week, please rise. Now you can support our fellows who are standing or sitting, joining us with your voices and your hearts for Mourners Kadesh on page 598. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דיברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחיי חון ובימי חון, ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, ועגלה ובזמן קריב באמרו אמן. יהא שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולמי עלמיה, יתברך, וישתבח, ויתפאר, ויתרומם, ויתנשא, ויצדר, ויתעלה, ויתעלל, שמי דקודשה, לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דא אמירם בעלמא, באמרו אמן. יהא שלמה רבה מן שמיה, בחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, באמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, ויעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, באמרו אמן. May the memories of your dear ones be a blessing for you. A blessing, זיכרונם לברכה. You may be seated. So a couple of pieces of information. So first, let's acknowledge some simches. לאנה ולפליקס נולד, born a granddaughter, and she has a name already, right? What is her name? Golda? Goldie. Goldie. No Golda, not like Golda Meir. Goldie. Goldie Claire. So Mazal Tov, congratulations. And the mom is okay, and the baby is okay. So they are all of them enjoying good health. So may she bring many blessings and many naches to her parents and to you as well. And good luck. And is there anybody who has a simcha this week that we don't know about and we should? So work harder on that. Okay? If you don't have any simcha this week, so try to make some simchas. Make some grandchildren, or try to, or more children, or try to finish college if you are do something. So we have what? Okay.
I guess I have a thing. I got my fourth and final letter of recommendation for tutorial school.
Oh, so you have all your package to go to tutorial school. Congratulations just for gathering the material. That's how it works when you go to a clergy school. You need to gather lots of material even before you start to talk to them. So, Lynette. Oh my gosh. That's a long while. Mazal Tov, congratulations. Congratulations. Jill. Wow, congratulations. Congratulations. Mazal Tov. Should we know about anything else? Serious? Mazal Tov, congratulations. Now that we are sharing, we got stuff, right? Like, what else? Say it. Oh, here we are. Congratulations. And what you should know is that Genevieve, she sold some cookies, but nobody else in town was able to sell any cookie, right? Like, she sold all of them. So if you didn't buy from her, you are the one person who didn't buy from her. Fantastic. So, sister who has an activity next week at 6:30. Next Monday at 6:30. Monday 6:30. So that's it. And next week we have the last Tot Shabbat of the school year. That's at 5:30. So you're not supposed to come for that service, but at 6:30 we are going to do a summer camp style Shabbat. And our staff will be supporting, but it's going to be led mainly by our song leader, Anna, and we will try to follow her. It's going to be serious stuff, so make sure that you come. And we are going to send you a letter saying that we encourage you to wear white shirts. So if you don't read the email, just try to show up with a white shirt. If it works out, and if it doesn't work out, come as you are. Just come. Okay. What? And a sweater, because the service is going to be outside. And I think for those that haven't been to camp, you'll have the opportunity to see what it looks like to do a Shabbat in camp. And I can tell you also that our new president, she is delivering the story. Because in camp, they don't do sermons. They have a story. So our new president will deliver a story. And it's going to be very nice. So make sure that you come at 6:30. We'll have a ton of children. It will be very, very nice. Join us. And we will be sharing more special Shabbatot and more special activities. We have a 4th of July oriented Shabbat. Guess what? In July. And we have also a Tu B'Av Shabbat, which is a love Shabbat. And we have a couple of scholars coming during the summer, many things. And I also want to say that my aunt came all the way from Argentina to visit us. So we are grateful and happy. You can say, hi, aunt. And she's my mom's sister, the younger sister. And we are happy and thrilled that she's visiting us. And that's it. We'll conclude our service. We are not forgetting anything. So we invite you, we encourage you to connect somehow with each other as we conclude our service. Something else.
Okay.
So we are changing. We are finishing. We finish our service singing Oseh Shalom, asking for peace, asking for the peace to connect with each other, and also for the internal peace in order to find truth, to find that combination between what we feel, what we want to share, what we believe is the reality, and loving kindness. Oseh Shalom Imromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel, Ve'imru, Amen. Oseh Shalom Imromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel, Ve'imru, Amen. Ay la 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 la. Ay la 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 la, ay la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Oseh Shalom Imromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel, Ve'imru, Amen. May God give us the strength to create peace. Adonai Os Le'amo Yiten, Adonai Yevarech et Amo B'Shalom. Shabbat Shalom everyone. Ay, la 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Sing to our choir. La la la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Ose shalom imroma. Oh, ase shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Israel. Ve'al kol Yosef tevet. Ve'imru, imru, amen. Ose shalom imromav. Oh, yaseh shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Israel. Ve'al kol Yosef tevet. Ve'imru, imru, amen.
Thank you so much.
Yes, Anita. David, how are you?
Great, nice to have you out here.
What? And here? Ah, my aunt. Is it in here? I think, yeah, I was here. Her in.